something meaningful done, then let's do it. Let's do it. Because this is going to trickle down to the whole economy, and eventually it's going to hurt them. Alright? Well, House and Senate conferees are now starting to come up with a budget. Republicans are already framing it as an issue of big government. If they see the conference as an excuse to raise taxes, I don't think it's going to be successful. That's according to Paul Ryan, who declined to identify any exemption or credit his party could end up supporting. Yet the central issue of our time is the savage inequality of income and wealth that's concentrated more of our nation's riches at the very top than ever before. This goes all the way to the president, the Democratic Party, and everyone who aspires to run for president in 2016, including HRC and Joe Biden, must frame the national conversation around this. Doing so will make clear why it's necessary to raise taxes on the wealthy and close tax loopholes such as carried interest, which enables hedge fund and private equity managers to treat their taxable income as capital gains, which is also why we need to invest more in education, including early childhood as well as affordable higher education. That's why it's insane to cut food stamps, Head Start, WIC, which is short for Women's Infant and Children's Program, extended unemployment benefits, housing assistance, and other safety nets Americans increasingly depend on. That's why the Affordable Care Act is critical for helping working families whose jobs are paying less or disappearing altogether. And it's one of the reasons why I'm really critical of the president right now. It's why I'm pissed off at him. He promised us that this damn thing would work. He rammed it down our throats, and I, in good faith, supported it. And I still support that the act must be fixed. I think that the federal mandate should be withdrawn, but I still think that the markets need to be out there, and that they should be available. And I don't think you should be penalized because you don't want universal health care. But that doesn't mean we should do away with universal health care in this country. Okay? And this saying, I'm sorry, doesn't cut it, Mr. President. Get those damn websites working. Get them working now. But I'll bet your ass that it will not be operational by November 30th, 2013. That there will still be fuck-ups coming up in December and beyond. Okay? Mark my words, it will come. I don't see how you, in 3 years, that you've wanted this, you got it through the legislative process, it stood up in the Supreme Court, and now it doesn't work? And test runs indicated that it wasn't going to work, but it was kept quiet and your administration didn't tell you? This is from the president that promised us open communications? He said that in 2008 when he ran for president the first time, and I believed it. I fell for it because I wanted it. I wanted a president who would open up communications with the people. And instead we're seeing the same pedantic excuses again and again. Well, it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly with this American. And I'm getting tired of supporting a presidential administration that continually lies to its people. So let's get this thing working. Let's work together. Let's put aside our differences and make this damn thing work. Why is the minimum wage? We must raise the minimum wage or lower the cost of living somehow, because prices are going to continue to go up. It's an economic fact throughout history. So why is the minimum wage so far behind? Now, I understand a lot of companies can't continue to keep raising minimum wages because they'll have to keep raising the price of services. So maybe it's time we do away with money. That's the only other option I can see there. But nothing will happen unless the rest of us make a ruckus and make our voices heard. And it has to be done, and it has to be done right now. Okay? Well, that's all I'm going to say about that at this point. To sound like Forrest Gump. But it really ticks me off, though, that we're in this slump, and a lot of people are just cowering down. Oh, yeah, we'll get pissed off about the government shutdown for a while. But as soon as we get our jobs back and things get back to somewhat of a normal level, we just quietly, well, that's Washington again for you. We're getting apathetic. And I admit I am getting that way too. But we can't get lazy, folks. We have to get out there and we have to make our voices heard. That's why I want you to write your congressmen, your senators, and even write the president. Do whatever it takes to make our voices heard. Even if we don't agree with one another. The more we talk, the more we shout, the more they're going to have to listen. They can close the doors and windows all they want. But we elected them. We pay their salaries. So let's make our voices heard. We are the boss. All right? Coming up in just a few moments on this edition of First Cup from Studio 27 on this beautiful Friday, I'll have the nationwide weather forecast, as well as news headlines, the composer's date book, the writer's almanac with Garrison Keeler, plus a whole lot more. But coming up next will be things you need to know as you head to the respective water cooler of choice on this Friday. All right, so stick around. More First Cup is coming up in just a moment.
I'd like to drop out of high school and get a meaningless job that makes me feel bad about myself.
I'd like to fall victim to the old boys network.
I don't want anybody to notice me.
I just want to fly under the radar.
I want to splatter against the glass ceiling.
I don't have an opinion.
I want to be a straight C student.
I'm going to be a biomedical engineer. I want to succumb to peer pressure all of my life.
I'm going to be a best-selling author and win the National Book Award.
I'm going to be a marine biologist.
Wait, I take mine back. I'm going to be a biomedical engineer.
I think I'll be the president.
I'm going to be Secretary of State.
World-class chef, right here.
Race car driver. Artist. Paleontologist.
Film director.
Surgeon. Teacher. Scientist. Olympian.
I'm going to be the boss.
Remember when your neighbor found us naked in the car, and the time some outdoor action got us kicked out of the park? Getting frisky in the dark, I gave your eye a poke. I think the dog is also in the bed. Do I smell smoke? You and me, we never give up, you and me. We never ever ever give up. Getting hot and heavy with the whipped cream that we bought, undressing in the kitchen and then getting caught. So many things can go wrong, but we still can get it right. You and me, we're not gonna give up tonight.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Visit bedsider.org to compare all the choices and put the bogus myths to bed at bedsider.org.
Boy, we got options tonight.
Brought to you by Bedsider and the Ad Council. Bedsider.org.
Welcome back to Studio 27 on this Friday morning as we roll on with the program. And I was thinking of one of my favorite moments in Seinfeld. I have many, many of them. But Jerry and Kramer were walking down the street, and Kramer's adjusting his watch, and I think he set his watch back an hour. And Jerry goes, "Well, that won't cause any problems." And so Kramer, I think, ended up being an hour early to everything. And it just created for some hysterical moments. But just one of those memories one of the many memories that stands out from Seinfeld. Well, with that being said, it's time for things you need to know. Find out what's trending on this Friday.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Don't tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
And it is Friday, November 1st, All Saints Day. And as a matter of fact, today's Song of the Day will reflect that theme. More on that coming up in just a little bit. It is also Author's Day, not Arthur's Day, but Author's Day. And so all for you authors out there and aspiring authors, get to writing, okay? And a reminder, this weekend it's fall back for those of you that honor daylight saving time. Speaking of Seinfeld, daylight saving time ends Saturday night / Sunday morning. So before you go to bed Saturday night, remember to set your clocks back an hour. Otherwise, you're going to be an hour early for everything for the next 4 or 5 months. In news attack this morning, in the state of California, an apprentice embalmer working toward his license has been charged with stealing the gold from the mouths of corpses. Well, his career in the mortuary business is definitely over. Next stop, though, dental school. Tech giants helping to fix Obamacare website. Well, it's about damn time. Experts from top technology and internet companies, including Google, Oracle, and Red Hat, have joined the Obama administration's efforts to fix healthcare.gov. And, oh, man. First thing I think they're going to do is get away from those old 28.8K modems. Starbucks unveils holiday 2013 paper cup designs. Okay. Yeah, they unveiled their 2013 holiday cups. While not as big as a launch as the new gadget from Apple, the internet seems pretty interested in the new cups, which have a more subtle, illustrated look. Just out of curiosity, I think I want to head down to the local Starbucks after the program and see if they've got them there. And finally, in theaters this weekend, Ender's Game, rated PG-13, Freebirds, rated PG, and Las Vegas, also rated PG-13, gets underway. And that, my friends, are things you need to know on what's trending on this Friday. Now, before we take a look at the weather forecast, which we'll have from the National Weather, from the thing called the Weather Channel in just a moment. I'm sorry, I'm just moving some stuff around here, and the computer, it's like, you gotta hold your finger down on the other button, Joe. Okay, but for first things first, I got the podcast. Here's Paul Harvey to take us into the news time.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Now you're starting to get a better idea of why I'm no longer reading news for a living. In news headlines this morning, major drug tunnel found between Mexico and the United States. Yeah, a major drug tunnel was uncovered between the United States and the Mexico border connecting Tijuana and San Diego. 3 drug runners suspected to be part of a Mexican cartel were arrested yesterday, and about $12 million worth of marijuana and cocaine were seized. U.S. investigators say they have uncovered many such tunnels, which Mexican cartels have spent tens of millions setting up in an attempt to create an underground drug smuggling system. My hat's off to Crockett and Tubbs, by the way, who are on special assignment. CIA to testify before Congress on Benghazi. Yeah, CIA contractors will testify before a House Intelligence Subcommittee about the consulate attack that took place in Benghazi, Libya, on September 11th last year. The contractors are former Navy SEALs, former Army Special Forces, and former Marines who were among those who responded to the attack that day. They will testify the week of November 11th in a closed-door classified meeting. And finally, a federal appeals court yesterday reinstated a Texas abortion law that was struck down earlier this week. It's like a really bad game of ping pong, isn't it? The decision means that as soon as today, 12 abortion clinics in the state will no longer be in operation. The law requires that doctors at the clinics to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. And those are the news headlines that I have for you at this very moment. We'll have more news coming up in a few minutes from the CBS World News desk on this program, as well as APM market information and across our wide Missouri Today in History, and a whole lot more. Right now, though, let's find out what's going on in the weather.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Weather Channel meteorologist Mark Thibodeau. Large front moving off the eastern seaboard. We head through Friday. We'll be looking at a chance of strong storms, South Georgia, North Florida. And, you know, this is the kind of setup where the front has a lot of wind energy to work with, so even in just showers, we could have some very gusty winds. High temperatures in the wake of our front, 47 in Minneapolis, 51 in Billings, looking at 70 in Boston. New York, 71, you're still ahead of the front.